Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to show you how I go about changing a snooker tip. Now I'd just like to point out that this isn't my cue. I'd never ever let it get in this kind of state. It's horrendous. So first of all, you want to cut the tip off. So what I use is a Stanley knife, so any sharp blade. So what you want to do is try and get it as close to the ferrule as possible and then cut down. What actually helps if you sort of roll the cue as you're doing it, and you get a nice clean cut. So for any extra bit of tip that's still on there, if you get a sharp blade and just hold it square to the ferrule whilst twisting the cue, that will basically scrape off any tip that's remaining. Take your time with this and try not to cut into the brass ferrule because you can damage it. So once you've got rid of any old glue that was remaining, what I like to do is get a bit of sandpaper, just hold it square to the top of the ferrule. This will basically just key the top of the ferrule ready for the tip. So now that that's done, you can turn your attention to the ferrule. So this particular ferrule was in a bad state. It had lots of scratches on it and just dried glue. It was a right mess. So what I use is some wet and dry sandpaper. So first of all, just wrap it round and twist the cue. Now, because this was in such a bad state, I actually had to use water on this to try and make it a bit more abrasive, which seemed to do the trick. So once I got the glue off, I used a fine wire wool just to polish it up and get rid of any fine scratches. So on this cue, I'm putting on a Talisman Trinity layered tip. Just like to thank the guys over at Talisman for providing this tip. So what you want to do is key the bottom of the tip. If you put some sandpaper on the table and then get your tip and do a figure of 8 motion just to try and scuff the bottom of the tip up so the glue will adhere better to it. So what I use is a gel SuperGlue. So put just a tiny little bit on and try and just smear it all across, and then the gel glue will just help you maneuver the tip central to the ferrule. Just give you that little bit of time to play. And once you've got it square, just push down. What I like to do here is then put your tip on the floor and just apply pressure just to get that tip properly seated on the ferrule. Then basically leave it for 5 to 10 minutes to go off. Now, as this tip it's not much bigger than the ferrule, I'm basically just using a sharpener here. And again, you've got to be very careful here that the blade doesn't snag and go into the shaft or take a scuff out the ferrule even. So just be careful, take your time, just to get that nice and flush to the ferrule. And finally, the shaping. Obviously everybody has their personal preference. So if you just get a bit of sandpaper and a downward motion just from the middle whilst twisting the cue until you get your specified shape. And there we are, job done. As you can see, it's an amazing transformation. Absolutely delighted with that. So if you want to pick one of these Talisman Trinity tips up, you can do. I've put a link in the description and you'll get 25% discount. So this is my tipping kit. Just do a quick run through of what it contains. So I've got a Stanley knife, foldable one, with some spare blades. Then I got a bit of sandpaper and like a shaping block. And then we got some tip shaper, trimmer, a scuffer, glue, wire wool, wet and dry, foam pad and tips. Bit of a selection there in a tip tub. It all fits nicely into this case. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.